So, Perpetua, we meet again. So you've been through the kidnapping and then you went to Ethiopia to work in Ethiopia. So how did that go?
Leaving Nigeria to go on mission to Ethiopia was like, I wouldn't say it's like an escape route for me to get out of Nigerian society at the time, which, well, let me just say I was a bit scared, living in Nigeria, because everybody, every man that passed, every human being that passed was a suspect to me, and anybody coming around I would think is capable of kidnapping me again.
Yes.
I was scared of human beings around me. Even to come out of the house to go to mass each time I was at home was a problem. So, but I just saw it as a way of getting out, even though my going to Ethiopia was already known before the incident of kidnapping. So,
how long after the kidnapping was it?
It was
the same year.
The same year.
I forgot to ask you at that time, did you get counselling or help after the kidnapping?
Not really, apart from the medical checkup, which they didn't find anything odd. I was asked to see a counselor, and I only had one session with her. Only one session, and the session was just to narrate my story, and that's fine. I didn't get to go back to her until I got to Ethiopia. Everything was okay in Ethiopia. It was quiet. It's a town or it's a village that is peaceful. Everybody knows everybody. They know everybody's whereabouts. In Ethiopia, we don't have a night guard or day guard. Our gate is constantly open, except some boys that go around to steal. They could to steal food, even if they got into our houses just to steal food. They are not serious. So, and the people are also interested in the welfare of the sisters.
Yes.
So, if anything was wrong, the priest and the people they intervened, and there's no problem. So it was peaceful for me to go to Ethiopia, and I could sleep well in the afternoon, in the night, anytime. I could walk alone, which I wouldn't do ordinarily in Nigeria anymore. So until things were okay until.
Were you teaching you had a school there, were you teaching?
We have a kindergarten where all of us get involved in assisting the teachers to teach, because the children only understand the local language.
Okay.
We all have
Did you find that the language change there difficult?
Everything about Ethiopia is difficult.
Yeah, the climate.
The climate, the first few months I got to Ethiopia, because of the altitude of where we are, I had to be chewing gum every day for almost 6 months because of earache. And then the language barrier is there.
And of course, the church services.
Everything about Ethiopia is for us is strange. Like before we went to Ethiopia, there's this program that the Catholic Church, organized by the Catholic Secretariat in Nigeria, it's organized by the bishops, that any priest or sister going out either for studies or mission is given an orientation. And we went, Maureen and myself that were to go at the time, we went for this orientation.
That's Maureen Longe.
Maureen Longe.
Yes.
We went for this. I didn't even have much time to stay there, because that was the time I had to leave Onitsha, which is far. Onitsha is in the eastern part of Nigeria. I had to go to the west for the identification parade to identify the boys that kidnapped us. So I was away for 3 days, and the program is for 1 week. So I was out of the place most of the time. what they taught at that program, I think it was meant for priests that are going for further studies or going to work in the Western world, but not in a place
Not
like
to go
Ethiopia,
yes.
because we didn't understand. Language was there, and Ethiopian language is only spoken by Ethiopians.
Yes.
Compared with other East African countries that speak Swahili.
That's right.
So Swahili cuts across about 5 or 6 countries. So you are able to move out. But the moment you leave Ethiopia, you drop there. They have different alphabets. They have almost
different lettering too, haven't
it's not
they?
It's even
Symbols.
Symbols as letters, which are over 300 characters. And when I was in Dundalk, I wrote Sister Siobhan's name. In fact, this is Siobhan. This is Siobhan.
Well,
this is Siobhan's name.
It's all Greek to me.
So she said, no, that can't be her name. I said, that's her name, using the letters of the alphabet. They call it the Giza alphabet. So, and even though English is supposed to be the second language, but any meeting, even all the television stations, you hardly hear them speak English. It's all either in Amharic or their regional language. Every region has a language. For example, where we are in the Tigray region, the northern part of Ethiopia. They speak Tigrinya, and the district where we work, they have another language which is called Irobinya.
Okay.
They are Iro people, is Irobinya. So between all of them are quite difficult for us. But somehow along the line, the children get to pick English faster from us.
Yes.
And the teachers are slow in learning.
Yes. Children can pick up languages.
Yes.
Round about 4 or 5, no problem.
They understand that. So we actually support the teachers in the classrooms. And when it comes to English, we take off that one. We don't allow them to teach the English. And most of the time, the teaching of English is the alphabet, the English alphabet. But we teach them 2-letter words, 3-letter words, 4-letter words for them to be able to even make short sentences, which was good. And then we are involved in women promotion. Shortly before I got there, Sister Benedicta from Ghana had started a kind of a training program for women in embroidery.
Okay.
So we had few of them that they actually participated, and they ended up learning it for the period of a year or so. Then the second group too came, and they started. This one, the man was involved to learn embroidery, and we also assisted in providing sewing machine for them to be able to help themselves, help their families. But it's quite sad that many of them just abandon that kind of skill. So the third group we were to get, they gave a condition on which the condition that we have to pay them allowance for learning, and we have to give them lunch, and then we set them up at the end of the program. But because the fund wasn't coming, also the sisters were helping some women in rearing animals, in animal rearing, which they were supposed to pay back some percentage of the loan at the end of a year or 2 years, but nobody paid back. Nobody paid back. And I felt it was becoming a problem, a thing of insult and ridicule. That's why just a few times I went to them, many of them were beginning to be insulting. So some will tell you that those that will even manage to speak with you, they will tell you the animals died, so there's nothing for them to pay back. Some will tell you, come and take your animals back. Come and take your animals, but you wouldn't do that. Anyway, we just forgot about that. That's what, since it's supposed to be, the loan is supposed to be revolving, but since it wasn't coming, so that's the end of it. And more so, it's not even because of that. Dohan area is so bare. And every family has an average of 5 or 6 animals, ruminants for that matter, that live on grass. So they just deforest the whole place.
Okay.
So if we take up that as a kind of help to help women, we are also part of those that are not helping the nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're removing the trees.
Yeah.
And therefore
Because
destroying
they cut down
the planet.
Yeah. They cut down even some shrubs that are good for desert. Those that are resistant to drought.
Yes.
They cut them down just to get some of these things for their animals. So we felt that it wasn't proper for us to continue in that kind of program, because that is the only thing they can do. Very few of them have garden, but around the house we try to carry out what we call a kind of demonstration garden. With what I studied in school, I was able to on top of the underground tank grow vegetables there. We have some fruits growing. We have flowers, got some flowers in pots, even on the ground. Also, the atmosphere around the convent is quite different. It's got a microclimate.
Yes.
It's cool enough, and many of the young people that have come, they take some flower seeds or flower cuttings. You going to their different homes, you will see that they have arranged some flowers. At least for them, they have a sense of beauty.
Yes.
So at least the young ones are also coming. And then we have a kind of youth program where we teach them English language. We've got some computers, some musical keyboards, just for the students, or some young ones that after school they can come to us and learn something, or to keep themselves busy instead of just sitting down and lazing away their lives. So because the elementary school in Durham runs shifts, 2 shifts. Some go in the morning, some go in the afternoon. So those that will go in the afternoon will come to us in the morning to learn something English, and it brought a lot of young people to us.
There was something I was going to ask you there. Yes, how, the things you were talking about, computers and keyboards, did you have a good electricity supply?
The Ethiopia has good electricity, even though sometimes they disconnect it, but at least it's far better than where I came from. far better. So everything was working well until the war broke out, beginning with the lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown, and then while we were trying to recover, while we were trying to getting ready for resumption, after about 6 months, then the war broke out, and all we heard was that there was tension in the land, because we have challenges with language, even though we were trying to learn, that there was tension, but nobody told us that there was going to be war. Meanwhile, it's like everybody understood what was happening or what was going to happen. The day before they started bombing, let me say that we were asked to get a report. We're getting a report from Ethiopia for the general chapter. We had just submitted it on the 2nd of November. We came to the city to submit what remained to the liaison person at the time, and she called us back that she was going to look at it, and if there was going to be any addition or something, she would let us know. And that was the last we heard of any St. Louis sister. So as we were leaving the regional city on the 3rd, which actually that was the day the war started, we left behind the war. We were going to the village, which is about 170 kilometers away. So we wanted to take some money. We did some shopping. We wanted to take some money from the bank, because we don't come out very often. But there was no network for them to get us money. as we were going, each of the villages or towns that we thought we could get money, we didn't get money.
Right.
So there was no network. There was no network. So until we ended up in the village. So that night, the light was disconnected, communication, no telephone, we couldn't communicate, there was no network and no movement. All the buses, the public buses that used to come to the village stopped, and that is typical of Ethiopia, that if there's going to be crisis, or if there's national examination, or if there's going to be AU summit, all these things, they just stop them. So it wasn't strange when there was no electricity, there was no network, and there was no movement. So I went to the bank that morning to see if we could get money. The banks are still working, and they just give us the money on the basis that they know us by the customers, that when the network is restored, they will it will reflect in our account. On the 3rd, on the 4th, on the 5th of November, because the war had started on the 3rd, we had started bombing of places far away, but we just thought, okay, sometimes the military people, they go for training, so we wouldn't know which one was real, which one was not real.
So you weren't really aware that there was war?
All we heard was that there was tension.
Tension, okay.
There's always tension in the country. There's always crisis in the country. So on the 6th, in the evening of the 6th of November, some men came to our compound to ask if we'll be needing security men. We said, we've not had security men since we came, so what is the big deal about security? For what? So we said, no, we are okay, we don't need security men. Not knowing that they were going to start that night in the village.
Oh.
So at 10 minutes to 1 a.m., this time no light, we've not had light. Everything we had in the freezer was beginning to get spoiled. Since in Ethiopia, because light is good, not many people have generators.
Yes.
Those that have maybe big hotels, yes, but not in the village. No generator in the village. So around 10 minutes to 1 a.m., we just heard the sound of the bomb, less than 1 kilometer away from the house, just because it's just behind the house. And this thing continued till 4 a.m. Naomi and myself, then Naomi is from Ghana.
Yes.
Two of us, we just stayed in one room, just praying. Oh, we don't want to die in Ethiopia. We want to go back home. We don't want to die in Ethiopia. Anyway, till morning. By the time we came out in the morning, everywhere was scattered. We had a lot of those in uniform, military uniform, scattered all over the hills behind the house, in front. Some of them were passing the front of the house. We're not too sure still of what was happening. This continued 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, constant bombing. This time the town was empty. A lot of children had left, and we hear the cry of donkeys, dogs, but no. It's like they had moved all of them away. So Naomi and myself constantly, what is happening? I would say, Naomi, please, it's like we are all alone in this. We are all alone in this village, and all we could see just those in uniform with their guns, and then ambulance carrying wounded soldiers up and down, until 2 people came and told us that, sisters, we can't keep you in the dark. That it's going to be very serious. The war is really, it's not something that we can. They advise that if we can move out of Doha, we should leave. This time I lost my appetite. The incident of Nigeria came over to me.
Of course.
I started replaying. I couldn't eat. My eyes. I now decided to pack few things. Because I don't have a big handbag, I removed Maureen Longep, who wasn't with us, who had gone to Nigeria for her Silver Jubilee celebration and for her holiday. I went and removed her laptop, took the bag, and started putting few things like first aid, trousers, some things I would be needing in the bush, because my mind was thinking of jungle. What I would be needing. I constantly wore my canvas and in trousers, and
Yes.
in case we need to run, and then I constantly had my cardigan in case I have to be living outside, because Dongan area is quite cold.
Yes.
It can be cold.
Yes.
And we're getting in the cold season. So as I was getting my things ready, I was literally carrying the laptop bag. It's a knapsack bag.
Yes.
Carrying it round in case, because I had the car key, I had my documents, the bank documents. These were the ones that mattered to me.
The important ones.
Put them in my bag. I said, in case we need to run. And I just faced the car, which is facing the gate, in case.
Yes.
I don't need to be turning and turning. But now he was laughing at me. I said, go and get things ready, because I'm not too sure what will happen. So when these two people came and said, it's going to be serious, if we can run, run. So on the 13th of November, all this while, the shelling has been going to Eritrea, because we are at the border, had been going to Eritrea. So we were comfortable, and there were some people who said, we are going to win the fight. We are going to win the fight. Yeah. Until the 13th of November, the bombing started coming into Doha. And because the house, this time we have left upstairs. We weren't sleeping upstairs. So two of us were sleeping in one room downstairs. Part because they cut the rock to build the house.
Yes.
So part of the rock is shielding downstairs.
Yes.
That if anything is going to if it's to fall on upstairs, at least we may be safe. We have to drag tables. Like this table that I can sleep on, I have to put it beside me. In case anything is happening, I can easily sleep under the table. All the tactics to keep away, to run away from danger.
Yes.
Was in my head. So, and there was a kind of, between two hills, there's an opening. So those shellings were coming from the valley, from the opening, and it's beside the house. And if it was coming, the house was vibrating.
Oh,
the house was vibrating. So on the 13th, 2 came. On the 14th, 2 came. On the 15th, 6 came. We now went to town to go and look for the administrator, because movement is restricted.
Okay.
And you have to be given, once there's any crisis, they restrict people's movement. You don't move. So we had to look for the administrator. His family, women and children, were out of Doha, except very few, maybe those that have no place to go to. And being the seat of the local government, you had people that are not from that side. They have all disappeared. They've all gone back. So the town was almost empty. But you just see people in military uniform with guns. Those are the ones left. So we managed to get the administrator, who gave us permit to go out of the town, but we couldn't take the normal route. We had to go through the hills.
Oh my
because they were fighting on the road. And the terrain in that area is quite scary. Moraklekin will tell you, between Moraklekin and even Benny Sheridan, then Onin Clark, they will be able to tell you the terrain, the kind of landscape you have there. Because I don't know how they made those roads. In between two valleys, you have a tiny road that you have to pass, and it's all hilly, windy.
And were you driving?
I had to do the driving.
Yes.
I just had to, because we couldn't take, who would you take? At that time, and also there's no driver's name on the permit they gave us, just 2 of us. We couldn't carry anybody. So we got that permit, and then we said, okay, the following day, being 16th, we will move out around 8 or 9. The priest, we weren't sleeping, because we just wake up and look at people were going either with their solar lamp, whatever, they are climbing the hill like as if they are in procession, candlelight procession, going, those that are left.
Leaving
the village. Naomi, it's like we are the only ones left. Let's see how we can follow them. I said, but how do we follow them? I said, let's follow. Anyway, since we had planned to move, a lot of those that were remaining, those that are weak, women and some, the women that are left and some men, they rushed to the priest's house. The priest's house is adjacent to us, the church and the priest's house. When he saw a lot of people running towards him, he was thinking about us, so he waited around. He was waiting around the church, because from the church you could be looking at the house. And the house is made in such a way that there's no something like burglary proof or no perforated wall.
Yeah.
Just open. So that even if you are coming from mass, you know everybody's room. You walk in. So he was waiting to see if he would see any light. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, he saw lamp. So he knew we were up. So Naomi went towards the kitchen and I came out. I was about to go upstairs when I saw this person in white, because they normally use the kind of white, it's not blanket, they cover themselves, they wrap themselves in white. I thought maybe it's one of the boys around us. I said, Enoch. He said, no, it's Abba. Abba, what is the problem?
So it was the priest?
The priest who came. He said, sisters, I think you should leave now. He said we should leave that night. So, who is having shower? I just grabbed my threw it inside the car. And then I was already facing the gate before Naomi got ready. I mean, I had taken important things. That's the knapsack bag. That was all I took. Thinking maybe 2 days we'll be back.
Right.
So we were going. The journey that should have taken about 1.5 hours to get to the seat of the diocese, the next place, which is about 50 kilometers, we got lost. I wasn't even thinking. I just wanted to be out of that side, because the bombing could start at any time, and it was hitting the hills, you know.
Yes.
It could hit us while we were still trying to maneuver our way up there, because from Durham to the top of the hill, 18 kilometers.
Oh.
Just like that, 18 kilometers.
Right.
So when we got to, anyway, we got lost. I said, Naomi, maybe we are even in the Eritrean country that are enemies. We don't know where we are. We were just going, but we're asking of the road. And there were a few checkpoints on the road. Anyway, Bishop was happy to see us after about almost 4 hours to get to Adigrat. That's where the bishop is. So we now went and stayed with the White Father, thinking that 2 days, this was on a Monday, we'll go back to Durham. That was when the war became full blown. So we were with the White Father eating one food every day for the 2 months.
So you were there for 2 months in Adigrat?
In Adigrat. 2 full months. November to January. So when we got all this time now, our system was somehow disturbed in the sense that maybe you are trying to sleep in the night, another one will go. You wake up again, and the Eritrean soldiers who joined in the war, who joined the Federal to fight the Tigrayans, were always, all they had to do was to loot. So they were going from one house to the other. So where we were, since I came out with my laptop, anything that your gold ring, your laptop, anybody that has anything valuable, smartphone, it will be inside the bush during the day. You go and hide them in between flowers, or you dig the ground and bury, because the Eritrean soldiers could come in to collect them.
Yes.
And act. It's not if you resist anything, you will be killed. They were just killing, looting and killing. So we have deflated the tires of our car. We were the last to even run with our car, because they collected the car of the Daughters of Charity. They collected one. because they were using any vehicle to loot,
Yes.
to carry
Yeah.
looted goods across. So that was where we stayed until December 26th. Two priests were used to drive. They drove them to Eritrea with the looted goods 3 times. They will go and loot anything and bring to the compound of the white fathers. They will load it into their pickup, the father's pickup, because they don't drive. Many of them they didn't go anywhere after secondary school, so they will take them to Eritrea border and they stay there. It's only in the evening, in the night they drive. And there are different versions of these soldiers, because they have to be, even the Eritrean soldiers have to be bribing some of the Eritrean soldiers for them to cross. And there are different areas, they are in different areas. So if you are in zone 10, you don't loot anything in zone 9.
I see.
They have shared themselves out like that. So, and they have the different checkpoints. Anyway, they took these 2 priests, a Burundian and an American, to drive them. And you can't predict whether you meet enemy and they just finish all of you up. So we now went to the bishop when we heard there was no more fight on the road.
Yes.
I went to the American that we would like to go away. We would like to go to the south. If possible, go to Addis Ababa. Bishop was against it. It's safer if you are in your house. It's better if you stay. What if the fight erupts again? Sister Perpetua, don't go, because yes, madam. As soon as we left the place, Father Paul, I'm following you. We are going. It's better we leave this place. I said, why? We are not Ethiopians. They might not harm us. So when we got back, because the white fathers have 5 seminarians candidates, and 4 of them from the south.
Yes.
So they have to remove them from the north, because they could kill them.
Yes.
So while we were trying to do that, I asked Naomi to get ready so that we drive. Maybe one of the priests will drive our car. We'll go with them. But Naomi refused. She said she wasn't going. She said she wasn't going. I said, but we need to get in touch with our superiors. I'm sure they are worried all this while. She said she wasn't going. I said, okay, me, I'm going. If we die on the road, we know that we have tried. So I joined the white fathers. All the fuel in our car, we drained it to their own, just for all of us to get out. And when I got to Mekele, the regional city, I called to Sapat. 2 of us are alive. We are okay, but I'm trying to see if I can get to Addis Ababa. Anyway, when I got to Addis Ababa, I called Sister Patricia. Where is Naomi? Naomi is in Tigray. I said, Patricia, go back. Go and bring her out. I flew back. Thank God the planes were still working at this time. I flew back on their Christmas Day, the 7th or 6th of January. Back to Tigray. There was no soul at the airport. The taxi that would have taken us maybe 40 bill, I had to pay 300 to get out from the airport to the next bus station. I got to the bus station, no vehicle. On a Christmas Day, empty. Yes. The only group of people that could see their military trucks. What am I doing here? As God will have it, a bus came, fully loaded. I managed. I said, please, whichever way, if you mean to climb the carrier, I think I will climb the carrier to go to Adigrat. So I got to Adigrat. I didn't see our car. I said, oh, thanks be to God. Maybe the road to Durham has been open. Maybe Naomi has gone to Durham. Then it will be easier for me to go to Durham. I got to the apartment where we normally stay. I said, let me just go. Naomi. She said, yes, sister. What? Where is the car? I thought maybe the soldiers have come to pick the car.
Yes.
I said, Naomi, where is the car? Where is the car? She said she wanted to take it to Durham, only to discover that there was no fuel. We had drained all the fuel in the car. So she left it in the cathedral compound. What happened? Anyway, let's go and find out. We went out to look for whether we could drive to. There was still black market at this time. How is it possible? They said, no, don't even go there. The fight now left the road to the hills,
Right.
to our side, because they feel that Durham is the stronghold of the militia.
Right.
So we waited. I said, what are we going to be doing? Now their money has finished with the white fathers. They don't have money anymore because we contributed to our state. We gave them some money.
Yes.
Naomi, let's get out of here. The sister, I have not picked any of my things. I said, these bathroom slippers will follow me to Nigeria. Let's get out of here first. Let's get out of here. We have to contribute clothes for Naomi because she wasn't prepared for. She didn't prepare. Unlike me, I have taken the important things.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we now went and looked for black market. This time the banks were still working, but they were giving little amounts, very small amount of money. I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged. So they gave us some money, and that was, we stayed in the hotel for 2 nights before we could get this money, and then we started a journey.
So you were able to get fuel on the black market.
Black market.
Yes.
So I drove the whole day till 8:30 p.m. halfway.
To Addis Ababa.
On our way to Addis Ababa.
How far is
it's over 1,000 kilometers.
Oh my
and
goodness.
On you that you are looking, if any accident happens, they leave the car because nobody is going to get it from where. So that was that. So where we stayed with the group of sisters, they call them offline sisters, the first night. I slept with my full regalia. I had no energy to even remove them.
I'm sure. My goodness.
My shoulder was paining me. But this right shoulder started from the sister that was trying to lay the bed. I just went on top of her while she was laying the bed. Leave this thing. Let me. Anyway, we stayed there. Then the second day to Addis Ababa. I drove again to Addis because Naomi can't drive. Well, she says she only understands automatic gear, but not that one. So we got to Addis.
How long did it take you that day?
We spent 3 days on the road.
Oh my goodness.
We spent 3 days. So I got to Addis Ababa, and Sister Patricia said, make sure Naomi leaves Ethiopia before I shouldn't book my flight the same day, so that I make sure she has flown, or she will call me from Ghana that she has arrived. So she left on, was it on 22nd of January? I left on the 24th or so to Nigeria.
Oh, so you went to Nigeria
I went
at
to
that
Nigeria
time.
after that. Then they now called us back that the war was over between the bishop and the sisters. We should go back. So we came back in March. In March, Bishop said we should, because we still had a car left in Addis. He said we shouldn't drive, we should come by air, and that the road wasn't very good. Okay, we flew to Tigray, and Bishop got somebody to pick us up at the airport and took us to Durham. This was in April. Everything crashed in June. No movement. And I had to prepare for chapter, to get my documents ready for chapter.
Right.
I was to fly. There was no flight. So I joined the CRS, Catholic Relief Service. Joined them to take a different route. We're 3 days on the route.
To Addis Ababa again. Yes.
Addis Ababa.
Right.
So when I got to Addis Ababa, no more movement.
So you were stuck there.
Stuck in Addis Ababa.
You did get out for the chapter though, didn't you?
That's what I'm saying, because after I renewed my documents, and then they blocked all accounts.
Oh.
All accounts opened in Tigray. All accounts opened in Tigray. That I was going to every office in Addis Ababa to get that done. the final time I went to the administrators of their commercial bank. I didn't go to any of the branches. I went to the admin office, and one of them told me, I said, do you wanted to offer me coffee? I said, this is the third time I'm coming here. I'm owing a lot. This money is not yours.
Yes.
It's money for my upkeep in Ethiopia, and you are now keeping it. I acted Nigerian drama.
As only you can.
That account was opened, the
Good.
community account.
Thank God.
So that was how I was able to get money for me to go to Ghana and back.
So, have you been to Tigray? Have you been to Tigray since, or are you?
Last year June I was in Tigray. I took one because when I heard that the government allows the Catholic Church to take some amount of money to the staff of staff of Catholic Church, you take 2 million, so you can take for 2 or 3 different congregations. Okay, and then I went that time, and I was only allowed. I took the teacher salary of 1 year. I was only allowed another cash of 10,000 if you are staying a week and traveling. That means you are traveling with United Nations plane, not
Ethiopian. Okay.
World Food Program plane. Very expensive, $200 to go, $200 to come back.
So you've been in Addis Ababa since?
Since.
So how many, have you been up to a year in Addis Ababa?
In Addis Ababa, I came, that's 2 full years. I left Durban in July. I ended up getting to Addis Ababa on the 10th of August, on my birthday. I remember this number of times. Just trying to see where I can get out. That was when I knew all the UN offices, WHO, IOM, CRS, UNICEF, World Food Program,
everything. All gone out of the country.
I was going to every office to see how I could get out. So from that time, I went for chapter, came back, stuck in Addis. So I now went back in February when I heard that there was destruction in the house. Because around September, October last year, they really bombed Doha. Everybody had to flee. That was when the house was looted. But last year, June, everything was still intact because the priest was guarding the house, didn't allow the foreign soldiers to touch the house, that they are women, they are foreigners and all. So they didn't touch the house. And he was bribing them with honey, with anything he had at the time. So by this time around, they were bombing, that everybody left the village. So that was when they had time to go into our compound, into the house, and broke everything, destroyed what they couldn't take. All beddings went, bed sheets, blankets, bed covers.
In fact, probably everything that wasn't nailed to the floor. Anything that could be carried.
Electronics, everything. So this time around, that in last month, Maureen and myself decided to go because she hadn't been there since she came out. When she came out, because Naomi lost her father.
Oh. Okay.
And I had to spend a few months trying to get them out. They also came out with the United Nations plane, and they just felt that there was no. She also came with the help, but she didn't know that. She thought she would come to Addis and then go back again. They said follow her to Ghana, from Ghana to Nigeria. So she's been in Kano all this while until I realized that no, staying alone in Ethiopia is not the best. No. I have forgotten all St. Louis prayers. I know that of Holy Rosary. By then I started that.
So you've been staying with the Holy Rosary
sisters? I started
sisters.
with the Holy Rosary sisters first because they were also to demolish their house for a new one. So they became a refugee like myself. So I left them. I went to the Daughters of Charity. I was asked to stay in the novitiate. I was teaching the novices and helping out at the conference of Major Superior Center, where they have formation program for candidates. And I also teach catechism in the international, the English-speaking community.
Right.
So those are the things that kept me busy. But shortly between April, May, June, I was also teaching at Dolasa Brothers School.
Right. So you're kept busy then?
All free of charge.
Or not getting a cent for it?
And no accommodation. So we have to look for accommodation, and nobody is bothered about whether you get accommodation or not.
And have you found accommodation,
Not
or
yet.
you're still with the
No, we are
of charity?
No, we before Maureen came, since I knew Maureen was coming, I had to move because they only have one room.
Okay.
And I felt that I was disrupting their program. Sometimes they stay in the store when they have visitors and all. So I went to the vicarage. One vicarage in Ethiopia has a kind of guest house.
Yes.
Close to these brothers, Christian Brothers School. And we were paying. But I realized it was going to be too expensive. I was asking for them to reduce it and all. So they said we should leave because the place was going to be, there will be nobody in the compound for 3 months.
So where are you going to stay when you go back?
Because the daughters of the Mother Teresa sisters were sad, seeing when they asked us to leave the guest house, because they said that they can't take responsibility if anything happens to us, which I quite understand.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be responsible for anything. So they said we should leave. They asked us, the Mother Teresa sisters, as if we were where we were going. I said, maybe we'll just keep our luggage somewhere and go back to Tigray to the war, since there's no accommodation. So they felt very bad. So they said they have an apartment where they keep their volunteers. We should stay there temporarily. So when I get back,
you have to look for accommodation. Well, Perpetua, what a life. And that's only in a few years. What you've gone through in a few years. I'm worn out listening to it.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm strong.
You are strong. We thank God for that.
Thank God, yes.
So, I wish you well as you go back to Ethiopia.
Thank you,
and
Chief.
I'll keep in touch.
Sure. Thank you very much, Chief.